I have this question for you. Are you writing or thinking about writing a client attracting book, but you're like overwhelmed with all the things that you need to do? You've got your business, you've got your life, you've got your aspirations of being an author, and you're trying to find how do I fit all this stuff that I need to get done in a day, in a week, in a month? How do I fit it all in? And how do I get out at the other end of that day, that week, the month without being crazy pants? Well, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about holistic authorpreneurship. And that is a way of looking at your life holistically so that you can fit in that author portion more harmoniously.
Are you an entrepreneur, small business owner, or consultant looking to boost your authority, influence, and impact? The Author Switch podcast with best-selling, award-winning author Carma Spence is your answer. Tune in for actionable advice, powerful strategies, and engaging interviews to turn on your author switch and take your business to the next dimension.
The Author Switch.
Hello and welcome to the Author Switch podcast. I am your host, Carma Spence, and I help executives, business leaders, consultants, and entrepreneurs write client attracting books, publish them, and market them to grow their business. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about ways to integrate mind, body, and spirit so that you can balance your business and your book and your life in a holistic manner. I've been fascinated with this topic for a very long time when I first came up with this concept that I called the holistic writer, which was all about your mind, your body, and your spirit in support of your talent. And I keep coming back to this idea because I think a lot of people, and myself included, because I struggle with this, will often get so involved in the details of their business or their book that life gets away from them, and then their health is affected, their mental health, physical health, all these things happen, and they're like, "What happened? What happened?" That's why it's good to be continuously reminded of these mind, body, spirit ways of being so that we can better balance all the things, because all the things aren't gonna go away. They're going to be there, and we need to know how to juggle them, but we don't have to do it in a way that makes us go crazy or so exhausted we have to take a nap 5 times a day just to stay awake, or, like I often do, drink 3 cans of Pepsi and 3 cups of coffee to stay awake. Yeah, there we go. Not the healthiest way to go. So, if you can incorporate some of these things, in fact, actually, in a way, I'm like saying, "Do as I say, not as I do." I do try to integrate a lot of these things, but, we all struggle with it. It is a process. It is a work in process. So the first thing I want to talk about is mindful writing practices. And these are things like meditation and journaling that enhance creativity. They can help reduce writer's block, and they can get you into that calm writing space that is called flow. Now, I did an entire episode all about meditation and mindfulness, and you can find it here at authorswitch.com/mindfulness. It's an entire episode all about mindfulness. I didn't talk about journaling, although I could have. Like I said, I keep returning to this sort of holistic topic because I really strongly believe that in order for you to really be the creative you that you need to be, in order to attract your ideal clients, you need to be balanced mind, body, spirit, business. And so when you can practice meditation, in fact, I understand that Jack Canfield is a daily meditator. And I've also heard this of other very high achieving entrepreneurs. They attribute this practice of meditation first thing in the morning. It only takes like 15 minutes. You can do it in less. You could actually do 5 minutes. If you did 5 minutes a day, you would see a difference. I've also heard that meditation can help with ADD. It helps with anything where your mind is scattered. Meditation brings you into the present moment. So does mindfulness. Mindfulness, I also talked about in a previous episode, I believe it was that one, where I talked about mindfulness being you're in the present moment. For example, in the present moment, I can feel the heat of the two lights I have on me so that which I'm using to counteract the light that's above me. Not the ideal studio here. I can feel the carpeting on the bottom of my feet but well, not exactly between my toes because it's a very short pile, but you know what I mean. I can feel the carpet. I can feel the chair. I can hear the fan that's going on. You probably can't. I hope not. It's going on back there because it is a little bit of a warm day. It is a bit of a warm day. So those are things that's mindfulness and journaling can help you if you can't start meditating, being mindful right now. Journaling can be sort of the gateway practice to those other practices where you spend like maybe 5 minutes every morning journaling about what you're grateful for. That one I did. I did that for like 3 years straight, never broke a day. I wrote 3 things that I was grateful for every single morning, and it changed my life. It changed my life. So, it's a practice I highly recommend. Second thing I wanna talk about is physical health and productivity. The healthier you are physically, the more productive you can be. Now, this is definitely a challenge I have. I was hit by a car in 2016, that has become the gift that keeps on giving. So I have certain health challenges that I try to face and I'm constantly facing. Maybe you're not in that boat. Maybe you can go do aerobic. I can't do aerobic exercise because I have this ankle that goes bad all the time. But what I do instead is I'm focusing on strength training because I can do that while I'm sitting down in a chair. So find exercises that you can do given your particular situation and limitations. Like I said, I bought some bands and I exercise with bands, and I put weights on my ankles, and I just so that every time I just go to the bathroom, I'm exercising. I also exercise while I brush my teeth because I have one of those little electric toothbrushes that goes for, like, 30 seconds per quarter, so that's 2 minutes. So that's 2 minutes of exercise every time I brush my teeth. You can fit physical activity into your day no matter how limited you are, and this can help you be more productive. You want to tailor your productivity techniques to who you are. And I interviewed a woman, Sheila Hawkins. I interviewed her in this show, and this is where you can find it, authorswitch.com, Sheila Time Master. She has a really interesting way of looking at time and personalizing it. I highly recommend that you check that episode out and check her out as well. She's awesome. Awesome. That's why I had her on the show. Anyway, so if you can get your productivity and your health dialed in, then you're going to be more able to fit the writing of your book into the life that you have. Third thing I want to discuss is spirituality in writing. And now I'm working on my next book. It's called The Author Switch, and it's going to be all about writer's block, creative blocks, which I call a glitch in your author switch. And I have identified through my research into writer's block that there are 6 primary causes. And if you don't understand what's causing your writer's block, you may follow advice that doesn't address your particular root problem. So it's really important that you understand that. And one of the root problems, which by the way happens to be the one that is it is kind of rare, but it's also not talked about at all. No one talks about it. It's like this taboo subject, and that is a spiritual cause. When you are disconnected from the divine, that can block your creativity because you have just when you're disconnected from the divine, you are disconnected from the source of creativity. Now, everyone approaches their spirituality a little bit differently. Some people talk about God, some people talk about the universe. There's all these different names for the creator. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what particular religion or spiritual practice you attribute to. If you can maintain your connection to the divine, you are more likely to be more creative and therefore be a more holistic author, writer, business owner. Number 4, work-life balance, or as my friend Sheila likes to talk about, work-life harmony, because really it isn't a balancing act. It's not like you've got, okay, I've got business over here and I've got writing over here and I'm going I'm not a juggler, so I'm not going to juggle. But anyway, that's not how it works. There's an ebb and a flow to your daily routine, your weekly routine, your monthly routine, your annual routine. There's an ebb and a flow. Some of this ebb and flow is along your circadian rhythms. Some of this ebb and flow is with your hormones. Some of this ebb and flow is with the seasons. There's all these cycles going on, and we are all being affected by them. And therefore, there's a time and a place for every type of activity. And we're not trying to juggle them, we're not trying to balance them. We're trying to harmonize them so that they all work together. And so I think if you think about things that way, you're going to have a lot easier chance of finding what it is that you want to do and find the time in which to do it. Think of it as harmonizing rather than balancing. Number 5 is creating a sacred writing space. What this means is you have a space that is always ready for you to just pick up and write. The thing is, this can look any way you want it to be. It can be a spot on your desk. It can be a table you stick in your closet. It can be a pull down that comes out of your wall, kind of like one of those ironing boards they used to build into homes. It can even be an attaché that you pick up and take to the nearest cafe. That rhymed. Take your attaché to the cafe. I amuse myself. So create that sacred writing space, whatever it looks like for you. Like I said, it can be an actual desk space or it can be something that's portable. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it works for you and your lifestyle. If you are on the go, if you are on the go all the time, then maybe you need a mobile sacred writing space. Make that work for you. If you're not, maybe you prefer to have a little corner in the bedroom or maybe a whole room itself if you've got that, or it could be your kitchen table, but it's only your kitchen table between these hours. I mean, it's whatever works for you and your lifestyle. And before I go into the next 5 things, we're going to listen to this word from our sponsor. Have you ever felt like you're standing at the edge of a vast, uncharted wilderness, knowing your book lies somewhere beyond the horizon, but not sure which path will lead you there? Hi, I'm Carma Spence, and I've navigated the complex terrain of being an author many times. I've learned that if you want to write an effective book, you need an outline or roadmap to guide you along the writing journey. That's why I've written All You Need Is the Right Roadmap. This book isn't about handing you a one-size-fits-all outline. It's about empowering you to chart your own course. Just as every explorer needs a map, every writer needs an outline. It's not just a list of topics. It's a living document that guides your journey from the first word to the last period. Inside, you'll discover the method of plotting your business growing book's path, ensuring your book includes what your audience expects as well as what they're looking for but not finding. It's about making the writing process more efficient, enjoyable, and most importantly, successful. Whether you're embarking on your first writing adventure or are a seasoned author looking for a more structured approach, this book is your compass. Let's travel together and bring your ideas to life. All You Need Is the Right Roadmap, available now on Amazon. Hello and welcome back to the Author Switch podcast. I'm your host, Carma Spence, and I help executive coaches, business leaders, consultants, and entrepreneurs write, publish, and market client attracting books so that they can grow their businesses. In the first half of this episode, in which we are talking about holistic authorpreneurship, I talked about mindful writing practices, physical health and its tie to productivity, spirituality in writing, work life harmony, not balance, and creating a sacred writing space. Now, tip number 6 is holistic time management. And I did an entire episode about juggling time. You can find it here at authorswitch.com/juggle time, in which I do talk about juggling, even though that's not really what you're doing. And of course, you can always watch the episode in which I talked with Sheila about her particular methodologies in productivity. So, what you want to do are manage your time in a way that honors your mental, physical, and spiritual needs. That's why I recommend talking to Sheila because she has developed these personas. And depending on what your persona is, your time management persona, you have different tools that work for you. So, for example, the Pomodoro technique, where you work on something for 15 minutes and then the thing brings that, oh my gosh, that totally disrupts me. It totally does not work for me. And that's partly because my persona it doesn't work for. But the Pomodoro method does work for other people. So every time management tool, technique, methodology that's available out there may or may not work for you depending on who you are, on your physical, mental, and spiritual needs. So if something doesn't work, that's okay. It just means it wasn't for you. Just as long as you gave it enough time to see if it actually could work for you or not. Don't no giving up too soon because that doesn't work very well. That doesn't work very well at all. All right, tip number 7 is mind body exercises. So, earlier in this episode, I talked a little bit about meditation. Well, related to meditation is yoga, tai chi, qigong. These are all kind of mind body exercises that are very slow. If you're not into any of those things, I've just found these books. I love it. 5-minute core exercises for seniors. I know I'm not technically a senior, but given that accident, my body kind of is. I also got 10-minute strength training exercises for seniors. They also have in this series, they also have like chair yoga for seniors and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, what I'm suggesting is that there are plenty of exercise books out there. I used to have Kathy Smith's yoga workout, used to do that on DVD. It doesn't matter whether you subscribe to the philosophy behind yoga, the physical actions of yoga are very grounding and can help you with your heart, with your mind. Like I said, there's many different ways to do this, but what you're trying to do is get your mind and your body connected. When I was younger, in my 20s, I sucked at sports. I sucked at activities in general. Um, I wasn't that overweight, but I thought I was. And I basically made a decision that my body didn't matter. And so I just ignored it and I disconnected my body from my mind. My mind was all important. I needed to hone that. So I spent a lot of time reading and doing mind things. And if it was a body thing, I just didn't do it. And that did not serve me well. I can tell you, it did not serve me well. And so using things like yoga exercises help me reconnect because I am one person. My mind and my body are not two separate people. I am just karma. So I'm just saying if you can find ways to connect your mind and body so that they work in harmony, because that's what it's all about. Holistic entrepreneurship is about having every aspect of your life work in harmony with every other aspect of your life. Tip number 8 is energy management. I was mentioning earlier about circadian rhythms. Your energy follows this, and everyone has a slightly different time of the day that they work best. So some people are their best time to write is first thing in the morning. Other people, it's late at night. Other people, it's in the middle of the day. What you want to do is find it's sort of like do an energy map of your day. Where's your energy the highest? Where is it the lowest? And then use those times of high and low energy to do the tasks that require a lot high or low energy. If it requires a lot of energy, do it at your high energy times. If it's something that doesn't require a lot of energy, do it at your low energy times. That way you're managing your energy and you're managing the flow of what you do in a day to work for you. Now, yes, if you work in a corporate office, I understand that is harder to do, but if you're an entrepreneur, you should be able to do this because you can manage when you get on the phone calls with potential clients. You manage when you do the various activities you do in a day because you are the master of your schedule if you are self employed. Just saying, think about that. Think about how you use your energy and how you can map your day so that it best uses where your energy's at those particular times of the day. Tip number 9 is self-care, and I wanted to share with you this episode that I did, which is called a morning routine, and in this, I do a guided visualization, and it's, like, different things you can do, like, a set of different things, each one taking no more than 1 or 2 minutes, and if you do this, like, 10 it's a 10-minute routine. 10-minute routine, if you followed it every day, would drastically change your life. So I checked that episode out. I believe there's a written version there too that you can get. So check that one out, authorswitch.com/morning routine. And all the links I'm mentioning in this episode are going to be in the show notes. So if you're listening and not near a pen and paper to write down what I just said, that's okay. Come to authorswitch.com, find this episode, and the links will be there for you. Finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about is visualization techniques. I really struggled with visualization techniques at first because I got tied into the idea that they had to be visual. And I am not a visual person. I dream in black and white and blurry. I can't visualize things in my head at all, but I can feel them. And that's the thing with visualization. Visualization, it's actually a misnomer because what you're doing is creating an experience in your mind that is as real as possible so that your subconscious thinks it's real. That means whatever senses you have that you can deploy into this visualization, deploy that. That's feeling, both physical feeling, touch, or emotions. That is hearing, that is vision, that is smell. So you might visualize a rainy day and therefore you can feel the pitter patter of rain. You can feel your hair getting driggled. You can feel the rain dripping off your eye, all those things. Not that you would visualize a rainy day, that for some reason, that's just what came to mind for me in the moment. Probably because it looks like it's going to rain right now. Anyway, that's beside the point. Check out that URL, the morning routine episode, and it walks you through a visualization. And I also have visualizations that are available if you're interested. I have one that's called a magical fear release visualization that helps. It works better for women than men because, but you can like change it in your head to be a sorcerer rather than a sorceress. But it's basically a sorceress who takes her fears, turns them into a dove, and releases them into the sky. That's the visualization I walk you through in that particular one. And you can find visualizations on YouTube. I mean, literally, you could go onto YouTube and type in whatever you want to visualize, whatever goal you have, visualization, and somebody's posted a guided visualization on YouTube. So believe me, these are not hard to do. What I recommend doing though is when you find one you like, record it in your own voice and then use it from there. It just works better if it's your own voice. So there you go, 10 tips to incorporate holistic entrepreneurship into your life so that you can harmonize all the things and find the time to write your client attracting book. This is Carma Spence of the Author Switch podcast saying ciao for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Author Switch podcast and would like to show your support, there are a few ways that you can do that. First, I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Additionally, leaving a rating and review would greatly help me reach more listeners and continue providing valuable content. To stay up to date with the Author Switch podcast and gain access to additional information on amplifying your authority, influence, and thought leadership through books, you can follow me on LinkedIn at Carma Spence. For those interested in catching up on previous episodes, including those no longer available on podcast platforms, you can find them all at authorswitch.com/episodes, where you can choose to watch or listen to them at your convenience. Thank you so much for your support and for being a part of the Author Switch community.